scene and in command.
Hello and welcome to Just a Girl and Her Firefighter. I'm Kristi Hilmer, your host. Grab your favorite drink, whether it's coffee, fizz, or maybe something else, and let's dive into the wild, wonderful world of first responder life. We are here to swap stories, share laughs, and tackle those "did that just really happen?" moments. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just figuring this all out, this is the place for you. So kick back, get comfy, and let's have some fun. Hello and welcome. Well, today we get to chat with fellow Firewife, Ashley, and I'm so excited for you to get to hear her story and her perspective. It's just a really refreshing look at the fire service, as well as how she has been mentored in this industry. So, Ashley, will you start us off today with sharing just a little story about how you and your firefighter, Jimmy, met and where this all started?
Sure. Well, there's a long story or a short story. We always tell the long story because we think it's hilarious. And then we joke about who tells the story not better, but more truthful, because there's something that happens that, and it's a little gray. But my husband and I actually met in high school. So we were high school sweethearts. So a lot of people assume that you marry firefighters. I did not marry a firefighter. I did not either. Yeah, I married my best friend, and we just happened to grow up in fire service together, but after he chose that career. But we met in high school, and we did not get along at all at first. I actually could not stand him. Yeah, he was like throwing candy across the classroom. It was really annoying. He's older than I am. So it was like, what are you doing?
It's like the Anne of Green Gables. Did you ever watch that?
Yes.
And he pulled her hair, Carrot Top or whatever. And he likes her. I'm like, well, that's dumb.
No, I know. It's like that. Yeah. That's what my mom would always say. He likes me. I'm like, no, he doesn't. And I don't want to be around him at all. So that's how that happened. And then we got in a car accident. And this is where there's kind of two different stories.
You have to tell us both versions of the story.
I'll just tell you the correct version, which is my version.
Is that yours? Is the correct version yours? Okay.
Yeah, unless he's telling it. I live in a small town, so there's high school. So we're driving, and I waited for the turn lane. He says that it wasn't quite a turn lane yet. I think it was. So I turned into the turn lane. He was coming from way back here, going on the wrong side of traffic, and we got in a car accident. He says that I am just as much at fault, but obviously that's not true.
What did the insurance say?
Yeah, so he did not go through insurance. He's like, my dad doesn't want to. My dad help fix it. That would have helped. Photos, right? Would have all been documented. Yeah. No, he was like, no. And I had a big Suburban. Well, my dad's Suburban, of course, we were kids. So I had a big Suburban that we called the Beast.
Okay.
It was the Beast. Nothing happened to it. His Pathfinder was just crumbled, but the Beast was fine. So as a punishment, they didn't want to go through insurance. They were just going to fix it. As a punishment, my mom told me that I had to give the poor guy a ride to school every day. And that was a punishment. I was so upset. So I'd pick him up, and we would talk in the car. I was just silent and pick up other friends and go to school. And then one day I was like, do you want to ride to lunch? I guess we can go to lunch. You can come with us. So then we just became best friends. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's my mom's fault. That's why it still hurts. Your fault.
Well, is she happy about her punishment?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, my husband gets phone calls about holidays before I do. Oh, this is a plan. Yeah. So they love him more than me sometimes, I think. So, yeah, that's how we met in high school.
That's awesome. And then did you guys go to the same college, or what happened after high school?
After high school, he got a scholarship. His dad retired from CHP, not as an officer, but as an employee. So he got a scholarship through CHP, and I chose to make money in the financial industry. So although I was doing community college, we didn't go really to college together. He was going to school for criminal justice, although I don't think it's really what he wanted to do. He got in an accident at one of the jobs that he worked at. And I was like, you can never do that. Come work at the bank with me because it's safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although,
I mean, until somebody robs it.
It's robbed. Yeah, that happened a couple of times, but it was safe. You could sit at a desk and, he knew that wasn't what he was going to want to do, but it would pay through school. And our manager at the time was like, Jimmy, you got to go on a ride along. You got to go on a ride along. Her husband was a local fire chief. So she said, I'll schedule it and you got to go. Okay, cool. Sure, go. And he came back and fell in love with it. So switched his major. He was going to be a firefighter. This is what I do. So that's how he got into the fire service. He just went on a ride along and fell in love with it and said, this is what
that's awesome. So did he then do fire science?
Okay. Yeah. Fire science, and got his EMT and then his medic while I was kind of climbing the career rung, I guess. He loves it. He's loved it since that ride along. He's like a kid in a candy store every day he goes to work. And when he's at home, I'm like sitting in his bar. It's all firefighters. Just
pretty cool. I know. I was like, is that your office? Like, what's that background back there?
Sitting in his recliner.
Oh, yeah. So our rule, whatever you want to call it, I hate recliners. I think they're hideous. They're the most dumbest thing known to mankind. They get them at the fire station that they should be thankful. And so I won't allow one in our house because I can't handle it. And if I did, it would be one like you're sitting in where it doesn't look like a recliner, like it's the fancy one. And so it's in the garage. Like you can have one in the garage. Like it cannot enter this house.
Yeah, I'm the same way. That aesthetic is not what I'm looking for.
And I feel like there's some scientific study that has shown people live shorter lives if they have a recliner. I'm sure there's a scientific study and I will find it.
Google it. Yeah, it's somewhere.
It exists, I'm sure, but
maybe posted by a firewife.
Probably.
I have to also say, like, anything that I say does not mean that it's like the ideals of my husband or my husband's department.
Totally. Absolutely. Yes, that is a great disclaimer right there. So even though you guys grew up in the fire industry together and went through training and academy and had mentorship, which is amazing and such a cool gift because I don't think that's the norm. Because I really think anytime we get into this industry, whether they were a firefighter before we were with them, we have an idea of what this might look like, but we really have zero clues. I am confident in there somewhere over these past few years, there have been a few surprises that you couldn't really quite expect.
There's still surprises all the time, but I feel like there were expectations already there through mentorship with the chief's wife. She really kind of told me how it was. You have friends that don't really tell you how it is, just tell you about, oh, they make so much money and they get 4 days off, never.
Right.
And the vacations you could go on, and she was like, oh my God, I have twin boys. And, just really said like this, you've got to raise your kids, not alone, but it's challenging. Just told me all the things, you guys are going to get married someday and have a family and kids. And this is what that should look like. So I was really lucky with that. And then my husband went to Fire Academy here. It was a little bit more like military-esque, I guess.
Ours was too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty tough. And they had a family night, though, where you got to go in and it was just for the family. So either the spouse, the girlfriend, or the mom and dad. And it was like a whole day. It wasn't. I'm saying that because it felt like it was. It was probably a couple hours.
It was like the evening. Yeah, we had like a dinner and then they like put out a fire, like a pretend fire. And like it showed all the different things. So yeah, probably like a few hours, but yes, felt like a whole day.
Yeah. And they went over like the diet that they were going to have in the academy and
before.
Yeah.
Oh, we did ours after. Okay.
Yeah.
They did one before.
We just kind of, they did one after too, but the one before really like set it up, and it's not something that like I don't have to worry about. I still have to worry about his diet and nutrition and such. It was part of the joke because they told us like, you're going to have to wake up early in the morning and help them and they're going to be tired. And, this is where I realized like the sacrifices that the family and the spouses have to make. Like it's not his job. It's our commitment. You really have to commit to the fire services spouse too. That was like at the time a little surprising, but now I'm super thankful. And they let us know how important community was and support systems and things like that. That being like my first experience, I knew that I was probably something that I needed to look into or research or make sure that this was something that not only he was on board with, but that this was something we wanted to do together. And I think we're really lucky too, in that we grew up together. But it was something that I felt through everything. We made the choices together. So it wasn't like his career or he's doing all this and I'm just a bystander in this. It was really something that we mindfully made these decisions together. It was our choice. He had I think the hard end of the deal because he's at the job
part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have the mental. Yes. Yeah. We have to carry just a different load. So, yeah. So anyways, I just feel like I was lucky to experience those things. I think when you do marry a firefighter after they've been in the fire service, that maybe there are more surprises and things that they can't even really prepare you for because they don't know what you're going through at home.
Absolutely.
They don't know the other side of it, our side of it. So they can't even really prepare you for that, no matter how hard they would try. But some things, because I was like, oh, I gotta prepare for these questions. Some things that I was not expecting or that were a surprise was firehouse gossip.
Oh, dear. Yeah. Like Grey's Anatomy and like it legit exists.
Oh my gosh. They are like worse than the ladies.
Yes.
Worse than the ladies. So that really surprised me. Another thing that surprised me. So he got hired and I have to try to place things. We got married before he became a firefighter. And I think when he finally got hired on, because it was at a time where I think he applied with thousands of other people for San Francisco at the time. He was up against hundreds or thousands of applicants. And so his hiring process took a little bit longer than some and shorter than some too. I can't complain. Yeah. But when he got hired where he's at now, I was pregnant. And so one of like our first outings and meetings with the other wives, most were so welcoming and so kind and made me feel like you're in the right spot. And another one was like, oh, hey, it's nice to meet you. I'm sure you'll be divorced soon. Like,
oh dear.
What? And she's like, yeah.
Was she divorced?
No. Well, I think it was not her first marriage, but she's like, yeah, that's how things I was just so weird. And I honestly think she may have had something to drink. It was weird because it was not something I experienced most, but it made me think again. But she said, women get married and then they get pregnant and then they get divorced. You'll see it happens in phases in the fire service. And here I am sitting like 7 months pregnant. Like, yeah, this is what happens.
It's like when somebody tells you their labor story when you're 8 months pregnant and it was like a terrible labor story. It's just like, why would you tell me that?
Yeah. But it made me, again, because I'm an overanalyzer, like start to research what does this, if this is a thing, if there's phases in the fire service, then how can we
not be a phase?
Not go to the next phase where I'm pregnant, the next one's birth. So anyways, like I said, it was a weird experience that I was just so pregnant and just being newer to the community and then thinking like, oh my gosh, really?
So is it that bad that they're talking about it the first exposure I meet them?
It was just a surprise, like, meeting someone. I thought that everyone met each other and you were just immediately like brotherhood and sisterhood. And so there are still those outliers, and I think they are outliers. That's something that I'm still like, oh, this is never how I'm going to make a new firewife feel ever. They got to know that there are challenges and struggles, but that doesn't mean that that's the way that it is. And you're going to hear things that will stick with you, but it doesn't make them true. So much of it is our relationships and not so much the fire service, but it's easy to blame the fire service, I think.
Absolutely. And that's one of my big, really passions and reasons I even wanted to create this is our stories matter. And I think the more you can hear that this is, I guess, quote unquote, normal or what it is for fire, that you feel seen and you feel understood, but also that we can live this life well. Just because there might be some statistics that say there's divorce or there's this or there's that, we can live this life well and we can all learn from each other. Just like you learned from all of your mentors of what we can do to help make this better. With that being said, what would you say is something that you've struggled with within this fire industry? And what have you done to...
Their struggles, but they come and go. Not feeling like a single mom, I guess. And I am a huge believer in that. Like, what you put out there is what you're going to get. And so when you complain about how you're feeling like a single mom, that starts to become your reality. There's just things that you hear or read about. Even I read a lot of fire service books. And so there's like this 10-80-10, right? There's 10% of firefighters who hate their jobs. And they stay in it though, just to, I don't know, like be salty.
Pension, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're salty. They stay. Yeah, but they're salty and they don't like it. And it feels like they don't want to be there. And then there's 80% where they're there. They come for their 2 days. They're off for 4 or whatever the schedule is. But, they're not putting in a lot of extra. But yeah, they like the job and they do it well. But they're just there to earn a paycheck and work their days. And then there's 10% where their life is all fire. And they work it when they're there and they work it when they're home. And that is my husband. He is all about training. He has side jobs where he trains, but he trains forceful entry and things like that. There's things that he's always 100% in. And so if I start telling myself that I'm a single mom or, I'm in this alone, that will become my reality and get in like a funk. And so that's something that I struggle with, is like not letting myself feel that way, because it's not true. He's an amazing dad. Just knowing that whatever you put out there is going to quickly become your reality if you let it. Getting in those negative funks is something that I've struggled with before, in a really good place now. And so self-care or finding time for yourself, things like that is something that I've struggled with. Or asking for help. It's totally okay to do that.
Absolutely. Like having those parents that are in the same soccer team or football practice and being able to carpool and this and that, or I'll take the kids this day. Can you help with this day? Because we have 3 kids and they're all in competitive sports, and it can be a little crazy on the days that he's on shift. So it's like asking for help is, one, normal. And it's how we used to live. We used to live in this type of community where we depended on each other for survival. And it's something I think we've lost with Amazon and DoorDash and all the different things. And so being able to create that community where we can help each other is huge. Absolutely.
Yeah. And again, not blaming the fire service, because there's so many, even if he was here or working 9 to 5, we would still have to be in 2 or 3 places at the same time. Yes. And so you can remind yourself of that, or you can blame his schedule, and you can blame the Mando van and everything else, right? Like, but just reminding myself, like, nope, not to do that. We're not going there today. It's just, it's just reality. We've got, like you said, we have 2 kids and 4 sports. And why did we do that to ourselves? Not because of the fire service, but
I know.
Here we are. Here we are. Exactly. So
absolutely. It's flipping the whole idea of flipping the script. I could view it or I could view it this way. And then having the practical things in place. Like, okay, I know I'm not going to schedule anything the day after he gets off, because there could potentially be a situation where he's not coming home that day, And just there's different strategies we can do to then help the mindset game feeling like it's all upset.
Yeah. And I've gotten so much better at that. But at first, when you're tired and you've got new babies or new kids, it is really easy to get in that funnel. So that's one of the things I've struggled with.
That's one of the games we used to play. And I tell people, I'm like, don't play this game. It's a terrible game. But it's the who's more tired game.
Yes. Who slept less.
Like when you have the little kid. Oh, it was like, no, but you don't understand. And he's like, you don't understand. I have to get up and fully function and like go do CPR. And I'm like, I have to do that. It's just 2 different tired. Nobody wins. All tired. Yes. So absolutely. I understand. But that's a bad game. Don't get into it.
No.
Okay. Well, what is something that you would tell somebody listening today that you wish you would have known? And this might not totally apply to you, because you did get a lot of information that I think most people don't get right off the bat. But what is something, if you can think of it, that you wish you had known?
I think that I wish I had known, or that I'm thankful that I got that information, is definitely read. like I said, and some of the books, right, there's some things that don't apply, or you learn things that you haven't yet gone through, but still just to read and know that there are other women out there who, like you said, have been successful, either successful parents or successful wives and successful people, whatever it is, just knowing that that's out there and knowing how to support your husband. Also knowing that, because I hear it all the time, like his job is more important than mine. Finding a spin on that too, because it's not that his job's, and I'm lucky that my job is super flexible. I don't have to feel that way, but I've got a lot of nurse friends that feel like, okay, my job is very important as well. I'm doing very important things. Why is it that my schedule always comes second or things like that? And really like getting a handle on that. And again, community would be a huge part in that. If he gets mandoed and you have to go on shift, knowing that there's someone to call. So I would just say building your community, and again, like know when not to blame the fire service. It's really us as a team, and the fire service is there, but it's us and our relationship and our family that we just kind of mold and be flexible around there. But that is important. Also, and I can't say that I'm good at this, but my husband is really good at this. And so I wish that someone did tell me that work on your relationship first, that he like studies the love languages. And so I wish that we would have found that sooner, knowing just even as newlyweds, knowing that because my love language is flipped to his.
Right. Because mine is not his and his is not mine. And that's not our default.
Yeah. And if we would have known that up front, I feel like I just would have been able to deal with things a little bit differently, and it wouldn't have been as big of a deal. It would have just made things so much easier. We call day one a thing. When he gets off work, day one, they need some time to compress. And again, reading books helped me understand this a lot better, not taking things personally, because my love language is quality time. And so as soon as he comes home, I want him to spend time with me. I want to sit next to him, and nope, we don't have to do anything. Just sit next to each other. Maybe he could tell me a little bit about his day, but that is not what he needed. He did not need to be bombarded at the door. He needed to have his times. How his love language, number one, is touch. That's my number 5. But like, I know. But like understanding, because I just felt like you just come home and like then you just want to touch. And for me, touching is different. To me, it means something. That would cause a lot of things too. Like, you just come home and it just felt like, passing through. So just to be able to manage that or figure that out sooner. I wish that we had learned before and really strengthened our relationship before we had this other huge piece, which is the fire server.
Absolutely. Yeah. When we got married, we had this mentor tell us, they're like, you have to focus on your relationship first and then the kids, like it's your marriage and then kids. And that has always stuck with me because the kids are there and then the kids go. I mean, yes, you're still always their parent, but they're not always going to be there. So yes, that's awesome. That is great advice for sure. What is the funniest prank that he has ever played on you, if he's played one? Because most, at least what I have seen in the fire world, they are jokesters and they are pranksters and they take nothing seriously except like life and death. But, I know. But they tend to bring these pranks home. So what has been, have you had any where he's pranked you or just a really funny moment?
So I'm pretty introverted. I talk a lot as this is podcast and here I am just talking. But
you can't see them.
Yeah. He is the extrovert and he's the jokester, but never on me or towards me. I'm not very funny, but just I try hard by pulling pranks on him. Me and the kids went for a station visit and we hid, I don't know if you know those little ducks, but I found little fire trucks. And so we hid them all over and he said that they're still finding them. He is a jokester, but like I said, not towards me. He's just funny and always laughing. And I don't know that he's ever pulled a prank on me. He always does like surprise parties and I don't know how. Like my birthday was just 2 days ago. He surprised me. Thank you. He surprised me again we went out to dinner and friends were sitting at the table. What in the world?
Still.
every year. How does this happen? I got like shirts made because he's known for his mustache.
Yes, aren't they all?
I know, but now actually I do. I couldn't imagine him without it. But they were real mustaches. I got his face on a shirt and real mustaches. And so we threw a surprise party and everybody was wearing these shirts.
The curly cued mustache.
He does.
That's not allowed in our fire station. One of the guys had to cut theirs. But yes, I've seen many. But these mustaches, I mean, we'll walk into places and there's discounts. They're like, oh, here's a discount. You must be a firefighter. I'm like, well, you're never shaving this off again.
Well, I just told him too, like, I don't know that we've ever gotten a discount with it, but everybody, oh my gosh, always says, oh, love your stash. And please stop. Please be quiet. Yeah. But we'd go like to school drop off and see these guys and they're wearing, I just saw it too on a reel, but it's like the off-duty firefighter uniform, like a melon hat and a brewery t-shirt and then the mustache. That is so you guys are, how does that happen?
I don't know. Maybe it's just because they're all special breed to begin with to be able to love this as much as they do. That it's just they become the same personality. I don't know,
but it's the same people. It is actually, I guess, because you did say, "What do you wish people told you?" I wish that people let me know that when they're on shift together and the Amazon cart fills up, like they're all just sitting there talking about things that they have to buy. They all needed this wool blanket. What are you doing when you're there? You just sit there and shop. It could be worse things, I guess, but I wish someone had told me about that.
Then it's expensive for them to work together.
Yeah. Don't worry about the toys, the boats, or the whatever other stereotypical things. It's like the little things. It's the blankets and the stickers, all the things. Now everyone's into cold plunges.
Yeah. Yeah. The cold plunge. I don't think they have an official one. I think they literally just fill a tub with ice and water.
And share it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. I do not understand that at all.
I went for a visit and I'm like, you guys sanitize that between uses? Or
no.
Just add more ice to it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. All together. And it's not like they're all tiny.
Yeah. They're all touching the sides of that ice truck.
Yeah. That's okay.
Good for them.
That is interesting. What is one thing that you wish the outside world could understand about this fire life?
Yeah, we're pretty open with our friends. So because my husband works someplace that is very expensive to live and no one lives in that town. So we're all really spread out. I mean, we've got firefighters that commute like 4 hours. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we've maintained a lot of friendships that aren't fire service friendships. And so I think that we're very open with them when they, want to schedule something. It's like now it's nice that they have the bookend mandos. So, they'll get mandoed for something day after their shift or the day before their shift. So you've got like 2 good days that you can plan. So
mine is like a catastrophe.
Right. Or, they pick up overtime or there's the academy that they have to train. But making sure that our friends are like flexible and that, we do have to kind of work around his schedule. And we've got friends that have they're very understandable. And they even, will say, oh, it's a day one, before they come over as a joke. So they even do the like little fire jokes now. It's kind of funny. And know that he goes through like highs and lows too. We've had family and friends that have been very supportive of that. Or we used to have friends or family that would ask every day, "What call did you get? So what kind of call did you get? Well, what would you do last night? What kind of call did you get?" And I think they saw that like that can be exhausting. Or there's things that he doesn't want to talk about. He talks about calls a lot less now, although he says that he's still fine, just knowing like when to pour in and when to come out a little bit.
Absolutely. And that takes some time.
To
figure out.
For sure. Another thing, I guess, it's not that I want people to know, but it's hard when people say, is it lonely? That seems so lonely. Or
how do you do it?
Or they remind you that, the divorce statistics are the worst. So just reminding like friends and family, like just not without saying, hey, stop talking about that, but just like, just reminding them too to be positive and like focus on, because when they're saying things about that in front of your kids or in front of your family, or they want to, oh, was it a hard day? Did you have a really hard day? And the kids are sitting right here. We don't need to talk about that at the Thanksgiving dinner table with our kids. Or asking questions again in front of kids. Do your kids have anxiety? Do they have a lot of anxiety knowing that daddy's going to bad calls? No.
They don't know.
They don't know. Or they know that there's a purpose for it. We'll have those conversations as we need to. So just people being mindful about what they're saying. If it's, again, super negative, that's what you're surrounding yourself with. That's what you're going to feel. So, and watching how you talk around your kids and your family.
Absolutely. Yeah. That could be a whole lot of episodes right there. Just kids.
Yes.
Kids in fire service and kids in general.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll wrap up with these rapid fire questions. So here's the first one. What is your favorite movie?
Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay. Coffee or tea?
I love coffee.
Or
coffee
fizz.
Doesn't love me. Fizz, definitely fizz, always fizz. Coffee, I used to be addicted to coffee, getting acid reflux. I can't have coffee.
What is your favorite fizz flavor?
I don't have a favorite. I love them all. Mango peach is really good. I do. Mango peach is really good.
Awesome.
Can't go wrong.
Okay. What is one thing you can't live without?
My calendar. Can't live without my calendar, my planner. If it's not there, it's not happening. And if I don't have it, it's like literal panic attack. I have to have it. And I have it on my laptop and my iPad and my phone. I don't know how I would manage without it.
I can't function without my calendar. We even just went digital, which I fought for years and years and years. And we finally went digital. And now it's the best thing ever. Like the grocery lists are on there. So the kids can go in when they've used the last, chocolate chip or cinnamon or whatever. They put it on the list. And then now they're doing funny things. Mainly it's actually my husband. He'll put the things he wants on there. And he's like, well, that didn't show up. Well, we don't need that.
That's the prankster. Yeah. Alexa, add. Yeah, we do that. He had signed on to Alexa at work.
Oh, no.
She's talking.
Oh, is she talking to you now?
Yeah. But he had signed on to Prime, I think, at work. And then people were buying movies or adding inappropriate things to our shopping cart.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Who were you working with? Or who's on shift today? I'm going to give him a call. Not okay.
100%. 100%. Okay. This is the last one. And this one's maybe actually not very rapid fire. But what is the best advice you have ever been given? Fire related or not?
Oh, just one advice. I don't know. Just to surround yourself with positive people if you want to be positive. Just to stay positive. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's it. It's all about who you surround yourself with.
Yes, because they help shape the lens you view the world through.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And I am perfectly happy with rose-colored glasses.
100%. I tell people all the time, I live in my bubble.
Yeah. And I am okay
living it.
Yep. Ignorance is, yes.
Yes, okay. Exactly. Awesome. Well, this was such a fun conversation. So thank you for all that you shared with tips and stories. It's going to impact a lot of people. So thank you. I appreciate all your time. Thank you for listening to Just a Girl and Her Firefighter. It would mean the world to us to have you subscribe, share with all the people you love, and join us in our Firewife community. Thanks again, and see you next time.